Hey guys, it's Ashton here. In this video, I wanted to try to explain something that might be a little bit difficult to fully explain with words. I'm going to make the attempt anyways. I want to talk about one of the most simple and yet most profound things to understand about meditation, and also kind of briefly explain how this fits in with brainwave entrainment and using it for the purpose of deepening and increasing the potency or the progress that you're making with your meditative path. Regardless of what you're trying to do with your life, whether you're trying to improve your health, whether you're trying to master your thoughts and your emotions to the point that you can more easily manifest the goals and dreams you have for yourself, or whether you are trying to advance or walk your spiritual path, remember who you are and get more in touch with your spirit, however you prefer to word that. Your most important tool on any journey through life is your own self-awareness. I think it's really easy for us to maybe brush past just how much we have inside of ourselves that we have yet to become aware of. They used to say we only use 2% of our brains. Recently, that statistic has been proven as not entirely accurate, but it's still hitting the mark in that there's so much of our brains there's so much of our mind, we could say, beyond the brain that we're completely unaware of. And becoming aware of this is one of the most empowering things we could possibly do, whether it's learning how we're thinking so we can learn to think in a better way, or whether it's becoming aware of some of our more repressed thoughts, our memories, some of the triggers we have that are affecting the way we interact with other people and with life, negative beliefs that might sabotage our success or keep us from pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone. There's just so much, not to mention all the mystical aspects of the mind, our intuition, our ability to connect with different realms and do some of that more cool shamanistic spiritual stuff, mystical experiences and whatnot. It all starts with us becoming aware of our own self, our own mind. And it's always comforting to remember, anytime you meditate, whether you're using brainwave entrainment or not, simply sitting with your eyes closed and not doing anything else is still a step forward in your meditative path. Why? Because in order for you to understand how something works, you have to be able to observe it. Now, when you're learning how to, say, work with cars, or when you're learning how to play a musical instrument, yeah, sometimes you sit down and you take lessons. If you're playing the guitar, you learn the notes, and you learn the keys, and you practice over and over again. Sometimes, though, you learn just as much from picking up a guitar and just messing around with it. You grow a familiarity, you grow a comfort level with your instrument, you learn the subtleties. There's so much to learn, right? When you sit with your eyes closed, it's just like if you sat in the same room for half an hour every day, but you were doing stuff in the room the whole time, you might not be so aware of the room. However, if you sit in the same room for an hour every single day and just look at that room, you're going to become very aware of what's going on in that room. You're going to start to notice all the different little details. You're going to notice how the ceiling looks. You're going to notice all the objects in the room. You're going to notice how the air flows around the room. You're going to notice how the dust looks while it's traveling through the air and the sunlight shines through the window on it. And it's the same with your mind. When you sit there, even if you're just sitting there with your eyes closed, not doing any type of technique or practice or anything, just watching, you put yourself in a space where you're beginning to learn to observe your own mind. And we don't always have to worry so much about pushing ourselves really hard to do certain meditative practices, because this is all about growing self-awareness. And I promise, the second you're willing to invest the time to simply be with yourself, watch yourself, see what it's like to just sit there still with your eyes closed, see what happens in your mind, you're going to be making progress. Now, this fits in with brainwave entrainment because a lot of people say, yeah, brainwave entrainment audios, you put your headphones on and you listen to the audio and it advances you. It accelerates your meditative path. And this is very true, but it's always good to remember one of the things that you're doing, even while you're listening to brainwave entrainment, is sitting with your eyes closed. I can promise you, if you took a theta audio, or an alpha audio, or a delta even, and you were keeping your eyes open, looking around, even if you made it into that theta brainwave state with the technology, the fact that you're not closing your eyes and going inwards is definitely going to have an effect. So in a brainwave entrainment meditation program, it's not just the audio that's doing the work. It's the fact that you're sitting with the audio, the fact that you're willing to put in the time to sit still and to allow yourself to observe your own mind. And remember too, this doesn't always have to be sitting with eyes closed. That's just kind of the point I was trying to make. But anytime you turn your focus inwards, you're developing a certain muscle. And as you develop this muscle, you can progressively become more and more aware of how your mind works. It's just like an engine or a technical piece of machinery. You want to know the different parts, you want to understand how they work, and by the time you understand how these things work, you can then begin to master the skill of using it to your advantage. You can begin to tweak things, improve things, change things. And the mind is no different, except it's always important to remember the mind is so vast, so mysterious. There is so much about your own self that you still have yet to learn. And every little tiny thing that you learn about yourself adds up, enabling you to move along into a path of becoming a more happy person, being able to achieve your goals and dreams more, and most importantly, being able to fall into harmony with the path that your soul really desires to take, living your life in accordance with your heart and what truly makes you happy. So that's just my thought for the day, I guess, and I wanted to share that with everybody. I hope you're having a great weekend, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.